Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are, and welcome back to another Nerd Nation tier list stream. I am, of course, joined by my normal compatriot, Zamario. How you doing, bud?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
And our special guest yet again. He's come back to he's tolerating us still. Boss man, how you doing?
All right, guys, how you doing?
Or DC fan as of today. I love how we have a DC fan doing the the Marvel tier list. It's great. All right, so phase two. Let's get right into it. We are going into my least favorite MCU movie ever. Period. At the bottom of the tier, it's like in the sewers. Iron Man 3. So you guys have my. I mean, if you want me to run. I mean, the movie is basically Tony's got PTSD from Avengers, kind of like Gary does. Um, and that's it. Like, I mean, he takes on Aldrich Killian, which is the leader of AIM, which is sad that we've never seen that organization since. Um, and also there's the Mandarin, which honestly, in my opinion, could have been one of the better villains. All the marketing was fantastic for for this villain and everything like that, and I loved it. I was going, I'm like, oh, even if it's not magical 10 rings, I think that Ben Kingsley as this character, he's playing it so well. And what they did to what they did to the Mandarin, not the fact that they made him Middle Eastern, not the fact that I mean, that made more sense in the change in Iron Man's origin. But what they did and then even the icing on the cake is at the end is when Killian's like, I'm the Mandarin. I'm like, oh, fuck you. I mean, like, it's just so bad. So bad. I didn't even like the mustard Iron Man outfit. I mean, the whole, like, little, like, the pot, what is it? Like, the compartmentalized suit where it just kind of flies at
Yeah, he had a
him.
real bond with that suit for some reason, did he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so bad. All right, so I mean, I hated just about every aspect of this movie. Even when he went incognito, when he like made all his little gadgets and was electrocuting people, and I get it, he could do it, but it was still, to me, it felt dumb. And Killian was a terrible villain. AIM was used so piss poorly. Um, Turning Pepper into a what was it again? I don't even remember what they were called. The they explode men. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was called. Extremis, I think, is that it? It's something like
I
Yeah,
that.
don't
so
know,
something like that.
but trying to pull on the emotional heartstrings with fucking
Yeah, and then they and then
with what's his face, Happy getting blown up and shit.
yeah, and I didn't mind that so much. That was okay
I
because
thought it was stupid.
I thought it was
I thought it was
okay.
just there for a reaction. It was
That
really
and then him blowing up the suits at the end, like really, and then turning it War Machine into the Iron Patriot. Come
yeah.
on, there was so many bad things in this movie. I walked out of this movie like ready to. I hated it. I hated it so much. So Terrence Howard tier. So Terrence Howard gets his first vote from me. All right, let's go to Boss Man.
I didn't hate it as much as you did because I thought it was a masterful troll on the part of MCU to have like it seemed like the bad guy's going to be the Mandarin, and what do you get in it? You just get a side clip of, oh no, my name's Trevor and I'm an actor, and I just looked at it. It was just like it's like you got everybody. Like I've got to give a tiny bit of respect for that. That they managed to get everybody, even though I can't disagree with anything you've just said. You know, like as I said, like the whole exploding people thing was dumb. The whole thing with I'm the Mandarin, and then like when he's first there, he's got we know he's a nerd because he's got blueprints and he's got he's got works. He's like hey there, Mr. Mandarin, can I come to you? And he's got really bad teeth, and he's got glasses and stuff like that. It's just like oh my god, really? And then like and it's just like ugh. But as I said, but as I said, I have to remind the fact that they trolled everybody. There has to be a little bit, a tiny sliver of respect for me. So I think it's three still, but I can't disagree with you that it can't go any higher than that because it is a quite a bad film.
All right, Zam.
This is number 4 for me. This first, I want to quickly add regarding the Trevor Slattery thing. I actually, back in my part of me thought to myself, is he actually just a guy who's an actor, like playing a role? I thought to myself in this because it just seemed a bit far fetched what he was, and I wasn't too shocked that he ended up being an actor, and at the same time, I'm not pissed off that he wasn't the real Mandarin. That doesn't bother me at all. But I do think this film is absolutely shit. Um, there was some good moments in it, but people want to see more War Machine as well as Iron Man. We got a good bit. We got a bit of him near the end. Where a bit like how Robin became, how Chris O'Donnell became Robin at the end of Batman Forever. We got a tiny snippet of it at the end. So now we got Iron Man 3. Give us more War Machine in this movie, but no, we got. And I don't mind Iron Patriot, but he's doing nothing. Nothing. You got Don Cheadle running around in a green T-shirt doing nothing, man. I mean,
Yeah, I think they just used it to kill off Happy Hogan and stuff like that. Well, not kill him off, but just like
injure him, put him on, bench him.
it's like going, oh, well, John, you did two great movies. We'll just.
Well, they eventually bench him. They ended up they kind of benched Don Cheadle later on as well. But I just everything about this film is shit. I mean, the premises started really well, like with the Killian character, with him, being forgotten about by Tony Stark, who's banging this bird, they end up killing off later on anyway. It's good. The Ensign callback was okay, I guess. The scene where he saves the people in the plane is pretty cool.
I did like that part. I did like him saving the people falling out of the plane.
That was pretty cool. But when you watch the film a couple of times more after that, you think, oh, this is a bit stupid. Actually, I think these people be too busy panicking to think about grabbing each other. But nevertheless, it's an absolutely terrible film. I mean, they did cure Pepper Potts. Yeah, she never ended up keeping the powers.
Yeah,
forever,
no, it was a one line at the end of the movie that they cured her.
And the fact that he then removes the shit, I never liked the fact that he moved the reactor from his chest. I was never a fan of that.
That's another thing I thought was dumb. And they knew that they had more movies coming.
And the fact that he just destroyed all his suits, and then there's nothing. I'm sorry for foreshadowing, but it is important that it doesn't come up at all in Age of Ultron, where he's just flying around in the fucking suit again like nothing's happened.
They did talk about it in Civil War, but yeah, that's it. I mean, there's no mention of it.
There's a bit of a gap there, but nevertheless, yeah, this is a terrible, terrible movie. We got to see maybe Iron Pot, the future Iron Lad, and that young lad, and all of that. But
who looks like an adult now? Have you seen the kid?
Yeah. Well, we saw him in Endgame.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so I'm gonna put this right where it belongs at the bottom. All right.
I mean, it's just like you have to also know this is Iron Man 3. This is Iron Man Make it good for fuck's sake.
This is the end of a trilogy.
Yeah, make it good, man. This is like this is like one of the main guys. This is his movie. Make it a good film, and you give us this, especially after what they did with the second one, which was average at best. To make it even worse, you would have thought they would have learned from the mistakes. They got more shit to feed off, but no, they give us that absolute bollocks. Really upset. It's a disgusting film. I hate it.
All right, so. Let's move on to the next one in Phase 2, which will be Thor, The Dark World. And I'm going to have Zam start with this one because I know Gary doesn't like it.
I'll be honest with you. I think I've seen this film maybe twice. I can't remember fuck all. I mean, this film was... I should have been happy about this movie. It's set in London, for fuck's sake. The main shit happens in Greenwich and stuff. I do recall the kind of redemption with Loki, but you never trust him. I'm surprised Thor was able to trust him at the end because he might have thought that Loki might have done the triple cross on him. It's just weird. Obviously, his mum dying was a significant part, and I guess that pays homage later on. We kind of see what the reality stone is. It's not really a stone; it's liquid. It's the ether.
This is technically the first time it is referenced as an Infinity Stone. Like anything, like the cosmic or the Tesseract we didn't know was technically the Space Stone. The Scepter we did not know had the Mind Gem in it. At this point, this is the first reference to an Infinity Stone or Infinity Goo, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. So I'm not sure if I hated this movie like I hated Iron Man 3, but I just can't. This film is so forgettable that maybe it should be at the bottom for that alone. You know what I mean? just for that alone. So yeah, bottom 4. Yeah, bottom 4.
Terrence Howard tier for Zam. All right, Gary, go for it, man.
I got one word to describe this film. Boring as hell is what it is. It's boring as hell. Nothing happens in it, and nothing happens quite a lot. What is this? Christopher Eccleston, sorry, is this space elf who gets woken up, and then he kills off Freya, goddess, flaming just so that to have something to do, and it's just like boring. It's and again, nothing happens in it. I mean, can you remember a single thing apart from Loki dying that happens in this film?
That he blew up the curse dude.
Okay.
I mean, Loki dies. That's his stick. Like
no, but him actually taking over as his dad was the one memorable thing about this movie.
All right. That's
the only. But even then, that's still Thor, and it's only memorable because of the way it leads into Thor Ragnarok. But other than that, the film is still shit. It's still it's tier 4.
It's definitely a tier 4 for me.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm outnumbered, but I'm going to give my opinion. I actually like this is my favorite of the Thor movies. I like it because it did, and the same reason why I like Iron Man 2. There was a lot of world building, but on the cosmic scale, they they kind of gave us a glimpse into some of the other worlds in the Asgardian realm of the cosmic MCU. They explained a lot more of the Asgardian, technology and stuff like that. There were little nods here and there. The dynamic between Loki and Freya, and then Odin and Thor, and then them crossing. Like, there was a lot of good stuff here. And then, a lot of and I get it. I get your guys' gripes. I really do. I mean, for me, if it were my choice, I would probably put it at the second tier, vision phasing tier, just because I really enjoyed it. I walked out of this completely revitalized. Like, after walking out of Iron Man 3, I was really discouraged. I'm like, oh, God, is this what we're really getting into in Phase 2? And then going into... And I get it. The villain was forgettable. Okay. I'm okay with that. Well, I'm okay with that because Loki was really good. But Loki was in both Thor 1 and Avengers. I was ready for something a little bit different, and that's why the Dark Elves. It also introduced the Infinity Stones. We got to see... the Infinity Stone. I've never been a fan of Jane Foster or Natalie Portman as Jane Foster. So that was all forgettable for me. But the dynamic between like Thor and Loki and all this other stuff going on just really this movie hit me the right way like Iron Man 2 did. I know I'm in the minority with that one, so we're gonna put in the Terrence Howard tier, but I really did enjoy this movie a lot more than
just another thing as well, like Jane Foster being infected by the ether, making her the classic damsel in distress bollocks. It's just very cliched. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The next one we're rolling into is going to be a big one. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Bossman, go for it.
This should be the first tier. This is an excellent movie because it has political intrigue and it has political commentary with Robert Redford in it. I mean, because even as much as I hate Hydra, as much as I hate the Hand, there is a reason that they exist here. And Robert Redford is this maniacal, political leader, sort of a Nixon-esque character, and I like that. And I like the fact that there's layers to intrigue, and that Nick Fury has to pretend to die in it, and there's all this idea of political machinations within Shield, and how much of Shield has been corrupted and who works for whom, stuff like that. There's a lot of spy elements and stuff like that. I thought this was a really, really, really good film because it was something that again, this is what DC should be doing. Something that Marvel doesn't do a lot of, which is a spy movie that's actually a superhero movie. Because it's Steve Rogers is trying to redeem his friend. But how much of his friend is left, and that's a very Shakespearean aspect. How much of a person is left after they've gone through the the brainwashing that Hydra does. So.
Well, and honestly, we don't know a lot. Steve Rogers doesn't know until honestly the beginning of the third act that's Bucky. I mean, we all knew it was Bucky, but at the same time, they played it really well. That he didn't know, So he wasn't even trying to redeem his friend until like the last act when they're doing like the big boom boom sky cannon thing. So I mean, honestly, they were. It was there was a lot of. Well, you're right, political intrigue and everything like that. I'm going to jump in here since I already did. This is one of my favorite MCU movies. It is definitely something different. It has Black Widow in it, and it's a good commentary on what like what who do you trust? Like who in the world, like I mean, I'm not trying to like throw any political shade, but it's like our governments are all, and I mean I might be a fanatic, I don't know, but like all of our governments are corrupt, and no one's out for the people. Everyone's out for themselves, and they don't care who they step on, and this is very apparent here because that's what Hydra's doing. I mean, they're whacking people just to get just to keep in power, and it just shows the corruption. I mean, the other thing is I didn't mind Hydra in this one only because you're right. This was a proper place for them, and plus they were still pretty fresh. I get it that they were in Captain America 1, made sense in Captain America 2. The one thing I didn't like about this was Hydra had been infiltrating Shield since the beginning. I feel like after what 70 years, I feel like they would have either come out and taken over by now, or they would have
completely taken over.
Yeah,
but I thought it was very well done, because they put Robert Redford in place, and to be honest, if you're going to get any actor to portray somebody who's a sleazy slimeball, I mean, as much as likable Robert Redford is in real life, he can portray that sleazy slimeball sort of character that you sort of like, you don't know what side he's on, because he does that real well as an actor.
Yeah.
And I think that, like as I said, I think that was a great aspect, because he's not a supervillain, he's not Bucky or something like that, or it's not like I thought but what he does have is he has intelligence, and the thing is that people underestimate him because he's just this normal guy, and that's what I found interesting about it.
You knew very early on though that once he shot his maid, he was the bad guy.
That wasn't that early though, wasn't that? That was still
in the middle of the film, but you kind of got it. But you see the Winter Soldier there and stuff like that. But what I want to interject with is that this film made me start to realize, shit, they are pulling stuff out of the comics now. They're doing comic book shit for real now. Like they're not like just okay, here's the new baddie of the week of the movie. Like they're making a massive arc with this now. Like, and they used the Sebastian Stan, who was in the first movie as well. So they really are storytelling now in the movies. This is a proper sequel, not just a villain of the movie, and I loved it for that alone. The story itself was fantastic. There were some great scenes. Like I think like some of the most the earliest memorable, like when it comes to like scenes people love and remember and constantly talk about and harken on about, is the elevator scene. I mean, it's such a popular scene that they repeated it with a twist in Endgame. So it's got memorable moments in that. The story was captivating. I have to admit, when I walked out, I was so happy, but I thought, fuck me, I just watched a really good movie, not just a good superhero film, but a really fucking good film that got me hooked. Had some great moments. That part where they're hiding from Shield in plain sight. Captain America and Black Widow, they're walking around and like they're trying to act like a couple and they're giving each a kiss and shit like that and stuff. It's really clever. Stuff. I loved all of that. It was really clever, and we got to meet Falcon as well in this movie, too. Anthony Mackie's Falcon. So that was pretty cool.
Doctor Strange shot out.
Doctor Strange shout out, but we got like going back to Black Widow, she was seriously fleshed out in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously fleshed. I mean, she was like the second biggest character in the film. All of that, we got to see more of Nick Fury. That scene where he's in the car and he's got the chain gun and shit like that. It was great.
Well, and we got to flesh out Shield too. I mean, Shield was a little fleshed out in Avengers and stuff like that, but we really got to see a lot more of Shield in this and how they operate and some of the, obviously the Triskelion and all these other things. So, Zam, where would you put this one?
This is tier 1.
Okay, just didn't want to assume.
This film really like kind of put like this is like the standard now.
Yeah.
Like this is the standard bearer. This film became, it's arguably for a lot of people it's the best MCU movie So
And they would
it's
have a fair
back-
point about it.
and and they would have a fair point. So I mean, that's always going to be arguable. There's never really is going to be the best MCU movie, but that's why we've got this tier list regarding what we think is the best. So this is up there.
All right, moving on. Next up is going to be another look into the MCU's cosmic realm, and it gives us even more of a deeper dive into it with the Guardians of the Galaxy. James Gunn's baby. I'll start with this one. I didn't like this much, and I didn't hate it. I didn't even dislike it. I didn't think this one was like the amazing, super, mega, ultra hit that everyone else thought it was. I thought it was good. I would definitely put this at a vision phasing tier, which is tier 2. But I don't think, like, there are people that tout it as their favorite MCU movie and all that, and I'm like, no, like that. I mean, it's up there, but it's not like the best. I mean, it definitely it was another one that kind of went outside the box with a lot of things, like Winter Soldier. And I feel like they had hit a lot of home runs in this movie, but I don't know. Just some of it was just kind of like meh. We got our first appearance of Thanos, which was bluer than they intended.
I remember that sitting on his rock throne.
Yeah,
asteroid throne.
Yeah, that was a bit. That was very
with
James
little
Gunn.
boosters, with his little boosters underneath to keep his
that was
arms
very
up.
James Gunn like, and I feel like honestly, if you plucked that out of the movie and maybe just put it as a voiceover over a shadowy figure, and you can only kind of see his scrotum chin, I mean, maybe that would have been better. Ronan, I liked him as a villain. I just wish they would have done him more justice in this movie. That's another thing. And on top of that, it goes into one of Boss Man's big points where they start killing the villains off. And I think Ronan could have been a really good one. Like, I really feel like Ronan, if he would have at least lived and moved on, he could have been a good one. Maybe not in his first outing here, but maybe like if he came back in like Captain Marvel, maybe if he came, well, and he did come back in Captain Marvel in a small role. But or in future like cosmic movies, I think Ronan could have been a pretty good baddie. And we also got to see the first inkling of the Power Stone, and we also got a lot of the backstory of the Infinity Stones with the Collector and Howard the Duck. So, Zam, I'm gonna shoot. I think I don't know who I shot it over to first last time, but Zam, you go on ahead.
I like this movie. It's a good film. Bradley Cooper kills it as Rocket, and in my opinion, this is the best version of Groot of all the different versions of Groot we've had. I love Groot in this movie. He is fantastic. Chris Pratt makes himself a household name in this movie too. He's okay. He's good. I mean, like some of the callbacks with the music, it was a bit cheesy at times. I mean, I do like this movie. It's not like top tier for me, but I watched it maybe about 3 or 4 months ago again after a while, and I thought myself, this is better than I realized. I forgot how good this film is, but at the same time, it's not tier 1. I'm with you. It's tier 2.
All right, boss man, you're up.
Okay, I like this more than both of you apparently, but I love this movie because it reminded me a lot of Men in Black to a degree, and I know I'm not talking about like the way that things are done, but a lot of like, you get to see these weird alien stuff, and like you get this adventure, and like you get this guy who's a bit of a goof, because like he plays like music on his headphones while dancing, to "Come on and get your love." I'm sorry, we're gonna get done for that, but like when he starts dancing to that, and like I love that. I love the fact like you get the idea that he's a bit of a womanizer with a lot of alien chicks and stuff like that. But I love the fact that he has this relationship with his basically a pseudo father figure. I like the fact that you get to see him interact with everybody in the team, and like you'll get to know and care about them, sort of thing. And like I like the fact like at the end they grab each other's hand. I mean, I just love the fact that like the way he distracts the enemies, he doesn't go ooh, it's just like you and me dance off, and it's going. So I can't remember what, I think it's a Michael Jackson. I think it's a Jackson 5 number that he starts to do the dance to, and it's just like, and again I like that. I like something where it's not we're not just going to outright fight you because that's basically pointless, but I'm going to have a dance off with you. And just like, that is just like so hilariously funny. And I think, and I like that. I like that when something's out of the box, when they know that they have zero chance against this like mega powerful guy. He says, "You and me, dance off," and I just love that out of the box thinking that like, this guy, all he has is his little tape that he's got, and and I like that he uses that in the team. That we would never think about that, and I also love the fact that as you were saying before, Bradley Cooper's great as Rocket, and actually I think Dave Bautista is actually all right as.
I think he gets better in the other. I think he's better in the other films. I found his acting a little bit wooden personally in this movie.
I feel like he was supposed to be wooden in this movie though, because he was so like hard up and like whatever. And I feel like being around Quill and all of them kind of loosened up a little bit. That's the impression I got. Like he was supposed to be this very rough and stoic character.
No, but he doesn't understand metaphors. That's what Rocket told him. So like if he says, something will go over his head, he goes, "Oh, nothing will go over my head. I'll catch it," because he doesn't understand metaphors. Yeah, but the way he was delivering those lines, it didn't feel that great. I did think he got better as in the other films, but nevertheless, I like this movie. I do like it, but it's not top tier for me.
It's just shy of top tier for me. It's like top.
Okay, so tier 2 vision phasing tier. We're pretty much all in agreement on that.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
All right, so we are at vision phasing tier. Now, let's get on to the next. So now the next movie in the release of the MCU of Phase 2 is going to be Avengers Age of Ultron. Bossman, you go ahead and do it.
Okay.
It has the same problems as Avengers #1. Well, you see, the interesting things about this film are what it causes. So it causes Zemo. It causes a lot, like the Soviet Accords, which have things later. So I can't hate it for that. But as a film, kind of sucks. Again, and I think it's down to a couple of factors. The fact is that we don't see Ultron do anything actually negative for a while. We see him do like that, building other things, to I've got those strings to hold me down and all that stuff, and it's like okay, and then we just see him manipulate Wanda and what's his name now? The one Quicksilver. Sorry.
Yeah, Pietro.
I would see him like manipulate those two, but it's like thinking they just got out of a maniacal bad guy cult. Why would they be picked up by this guy? And why would they go to? And it's not even the guy; it's a bloody robot. And the thing is like it's just a really badly written plot. Why would Tony Stark play this new AI that he literally found in Hydra's Hydra's base into his thing? It's like,
because he's Tony Stark and he thinks he's better than S.H.I.E.L.D.
Exactly, it's a shit story. It's a shit story. It's like how can we contrive this? It's because literally it was written by Hank Pym in the comics. It's Hank Pym who comes up there, and it's literally like it doesn't start off like straight away. It's like over time this thing becomes. It's like Skynet almost. That it slowly becomes that. It's not. Let's take one of our fiercest enemies. Is up there with AIM. It's up there with the people like Thanos. Hydra's basically been a thorn in the side for literally 3 movies now. I tell you, let's do something really intelligent. Let's put the AI that they've been developing to literally wants to kill us. Let's put that into my team and literally what happens. All those things is like, oh, there, Jarvis, I will get you. It's just like, for heaven's sake, how stupid can you be? It's like stupidity, and I hate when a plot makes the heroes look stupid. I mean, if it was like one of those things where like maybe like it was putting like a nice. That thing like you heard it over there, and it was that Jay Spader like manipulating them and gaslighting them and stuff like that, and persuading them and stuff like that. I disavow Hydra. They were always mean to me. They was trying to manipulate me into doing this, but like literally he plugs it straight in there. There's no reason for him to do that.
All
There's
right, boss
no...
man, you're going on about that a bit too much, mate. No
Sorry,
offense,
sorry,
man.
sorry,
You're
sorry,
really going on about that, man. Sorry.
sorry,
Okay,
mate.
but yeah, look, I, I see this film in. Oh, by the way, where do you want to put this film?
Terrible.
You bottom tier, yeah. Okay, fine.
No, actually, it's just above that because of the things it actually creates.
See, I look at this film in two ways, and you mentioned this earlier regarding like the foundation building in this movie is amazing. Like, there's a lot of shit that stems from this film alone, and watching it the first time round, I actually was very disappointed. I didn't think it was that good. I don't understand shit, but then watching it again after seeing the entire saga, and I saw it a few months ago for maybe the third or fourth time, and it was far more enjoyable because I understood what was to come. Like, Wakanda was referenced in this movie. We got to see Ulysses' claw in this movie. We even things like Wanda's power. Like when Pietro died, she fell to her knees and started screaming, and all the fucking Ultron bots around her just instantly destroyed. I mean, she was powerful as fuck. We just didn't realize until we start seeing WandaVision and shit. Now it all makes sense when you, no problem, when you watch that shit. Yeah. So I'm this film would have been tier 3, but now this film is now tier 2 because of how I see it now, not how I saw it then. And now I like it. I like this film now.
Okay.
This is tier 2 for me.
Yeah. This is. To me, this is. I know I'm in the minority here. This is phase 1 for me because whenever I thought of an Avengers movie, this is what I wanted. I wanted, a big group of Avengers. We had. Hold on a second, guys. Maybe keep talking. I don't know.
No, I want to also add to this, like regarding the foreshadowing of this movie, like that scene where they're all having a party and then they're all pulling on that hammer. That's become a famous scene now in the MCU. It's stuck around because people love seeing, like our superheroes after a hard day's night of fighting off villains, just sitting back and relaxing. Also, one of the good things about this movie is that they just decided, what, we're going to have to deal with, we're going to have to nip Hydra in the bud and move on from Hydra. So they began this movie with the Avengers finishing Hydra off pretty much. I mean, they're not really finished, in my opinion, but they've been pretty much dealt with as a threat, as a massive threat. And that was one of the good things about this as well. So we don't have to worry about Hydra anymore. So, those were some of the good things about it. James Spader is Ultron. I'm not sure how I still feel about him being Ultron and the sort of character Ultron was. He was supposed to be a bit like Tony Stark, apparently. And of course, how can we forget we got Vision in this movie? There were some significant things to come from this film. It's just amazing what branches out from this movie alone. The introduction of Wanda Maximoff as well. As I said before, the hammer, all them pulling on the hammer, and like I said, some people say it's been retconned now that Steve was always worthy. He was able to pull the hammer. But I've also said that Steve wasn't worthy because he never told Tony Stark about Bucky killing his parents, which is why he wasn't able to lift up the hammer properly. So there's all these different theories regarding that now. And so, this film for me is number 2.
Okay.
And on to you, Bob.
As I said, I would put this one in phase 1, the top tier, only because when I wanted a Marvel movie, when I wanted an Avengers movie, this is what I wanted. Not only did you have the original 6 in there, you also had Vision, you also had the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I get it that there were some issues throughout it, and there were some pacing issues. The Barton, you may have mentioned this, Sam, but like the Barton Ranch.
Actually, I didn't, but to see Hawkeye get, to be basically the star of this film.
Yeah.
Which is very nice.
Yeah, Barton had Hawkeye.
He was the star of this movie.
Oh yeah, Hawkeye had so much good stuff in this, and just and as I said, the big fight at the end. I get it. It's just it's another big explodey fight. I get it. So But that's what I want, like with these Avengers movies. I'm sorry, like if you're gonna sit there and say, all right, we need to take these movies in and of themselves at this point, and judge them. At this point, we have to look at the MCU as a whole, because you can't look at just one individual movie and be like, is this movie any good? Because honestly, a lot of times I don't feel like these movies are made that way. Maybe in the beginning they were, and maybe we have some recently that are. But like an Avengers movie, like like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, those we can say, is this a good movie in and of itself? Avengers, we can't do that, because it's like there's so many characters, there's so many, and I get some of the gripes with it, but I feel like still, to me, this is one of the best. Like, well, now, not now, but when I saw it, I walked out of the theater so happy, because I got everything I wanted in this movie. I got all my favorite Avengers fighting. I mean, there was just so many payoffs to a lot of stuff that happened so far. So that, I would put it tier 1. So you guys, but you both said tier 2, or
I said tier 2.
you said tier 2.
Yeah,
Bossman said tier 3, right?
I'll go with tier 2 with you guys, as I said. Like,
Well, I mean, yeah, we're gonna have
because
to.
it,
But you said tier 3. Yeah, it's okay. You said tier 3, so it's gonna be tier 2 anyway.
yeah,
Because
So, So, moving on to the end of phase 2, which will be the production clusterfuck, which would be Ant-Man. Zam, go ahead and start with this one.
okay, this film for me was surprisingly good. I think is it Paul Rudd? He killed it in this film, but I think he was also in his element in this movie too. You really felt, yeah, it was a really good movie. See Michael Douglas in the MCU as well, which was pretty cool. We got that flashback as well with him being part of Shield, and Peggy Carter's there, and Howard Stark's there and stuff like that, and he smashes that guy's face in the table. That was pretty cool. The beginning in the jail scene, how everybody loves Scott Lang. That was interesting. Give him a going away party and shit like that. But this was like in James Bond references, this was the for yours eyes only of the MCU, because after doing all the grandiose shit, For Yours Eyes Only decided to bring it, which is a James Bond movie, by the way, decided to bring it back down to earth, because they did the previous movie was Moonraker, they did it in space, and in the For Yours Eyes Only, they got rid of all the gadgets and shit like that. They kind of stripped it down, made it a classic spy film, and they brought it back down to earth. And that's what they've done with MCU movies. They brought it back down to earth to a seriously small scale, and I loved it. It was a different pace of it all. It's a good film, but it's tier 2 for sure.
Bossman?
I kind of screwed that. I thought it was a fun movie. It reminded me a lot of Inner Space a lot, which is what he was going for. And I thought, again, like Peyton Reed, I think, who directed this,
well, it was originally written and originally directed by Edgar Wright, but that's why there was a lot of production issues.
I just want to also add, terrible villain in Yellow Jacket, but other than that,
terrible villain.
Yeah.
Again, I could forget that, because the rest of the story is good.
Yeah, likewise.
Because him, you're being precious over his gift because he didn't want it roll into the wrong hands and stuff like that, and the fact that it was the thing that brought him and his daughter back.
Oh yeah. No, Hope. Sorry.
Yeah. Him and Hope back into contact and stuff like that, because they've been distant since her mother had disappeared.
Well, actually, they had been working together. I think. No, I think he was retired at home, maybe, and then she was vice president of the company or something. I don't remember, but not that important.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, as I said, I agree with tier 2 though.
Which one?
Tier 2.
Tier 2, okay. I would put this one for me at tier 3, which is the That'll Do tier. It was a pretty good origin, and you're right, Paul Rudd killed it. And I agree, this was a breath of fresh air, because after Age of Ultron, there was a lot going on there, and it's nice for them to just bring it back down and make it just a nice origin story of a ground level Avenger. well, like, you know, like just somebody who's not like got 50,000 Avengers. I felt like the
We
Falcon.
had nothing to do with the Infinity Stones or any of the
Yeah.
overarching shit. Or not, yeah,
Yeah, none of that.
nothing.
And I was
Yeah,
glad. I'm like we got Infinity Stones out the rear end. Like
yeah,
yeah, we need a movie without that. And this gave it to us. I felt like the Falcon, although I like seeing Falcon in action more without like
yeah.
all
That
the
was
other
pretty cool.
but I felt like that was a little. I felt that was a little like that was pushed in.
Fan servicey. I liked it.
Okay, I mean,
I mean,
it wasn't
because
bad.
it's good to give these characters some moments. You know what I mean? So if we can squeeze them in somehow and flesh them out in any way possible in other films, let's do it. You know, I have no
Okay.
problem with that.
And you're right. The villain was just terrible. But we'll put this at
Terrible.
tier 2, vision phasing tier, because that is where the votes fell. So, Zam, you going to take us out? Oh no, wait, I'm
Okey-dokey.
hosting.
You're hosting, mate.
Oh yeah. All right, so that wraps up Phase 2. Join us next time for Part 3, where we go through all of Phase 3, which is a lot more movies than this one. So, I mean, you know, if you're looking for us online, or well, you probably found us, but please comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Catch you later.
Right.